YouTube, what's good YouTube? It's your boy King back in this thing, and if you guys are new to the channel, definitely be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I greatly appreciate all your support. And I want to give a special thanks to everybody who watches these videos all the way through, shares these videos, leaves a positive comment, likes the videos. Thank you to each and every single one of you guys. Shout out to all the channel members. You guys are the bomb.com. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys. And with no further ado, let's get right into the video. Shout out to Doug in Exile. The link to this video will be down below in the description as well. Again, shout out to Doug. We're here to spread the truth. This is a reaction channel, and I will be giving my commentary, thoughts, and opinions throughout the video and on the back end, so definitely be sure to stay tuned for that. Let's get right into it.
Welcome to the Trump trial, day one. I hope you'll subscribe because we're going to cover this case all the way through, all the ins and outs. You won't miss out on a single thing. Today's a perfect example. I'm going to get you up to speed on everything you need to know about this case, the big hitting things by the end of this video, sober view of what kind of a mistrial Trump's going to go through starting today. Welcome to Doug in Exile. I'm Doug TenNapel. This is where the happy patriots are. Let's start with that Democrat hack. This is Alvin Bragg of him, what he campaigned on in 2020. Listen to this.
We know there's a Trump investigation. I have investigated Trump and his children and held them accountable for their misconduct with the Trump Foundation.
There were experts on every network scratching their heads and asking, what is he being charged with?
The charges are beyond what any other New Yorker has had to face. Here's a piece from Just the News with John Solomon. Jury selection is set to begin Monday in the first criminal trial of a former U.S. president. Former President Donald Trump has pleaded not guilty to 34 felony counts related to charges he paid hush money to adult film actress Stormy Daniels through a lawyer, that's Michael Cohen, and covered it up as a legal expense before being elected president. This should be a misdemeanor. This should be a tiny, tiny charge. And Trump shouldn't play out to a misdemeanor too. That's another thing they want him to do, is admit to guilt by saying it's a misdemeanor. Trump should do no such thing.
I also sued the Trump administration more than 100 times for DACA, the travel ban, separation of children from their families at the border.
Alvin Bragg's entire curriculum vitae is I went after Trump and I let hardened murderers go. Here's Trump on Truth Social today. The radical left Democrats are already cheating on the 2024 presidential election by bringing or helping to bring all of these bogus lawsuits against me, thereby forcing me to sit in courthouses and spend money that could be used for campaigning instead of being out in the field knocking crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of the United States.
Very true. Very, very, very true. I love the fact that he pointed that out because we can see that. You know, that's definitely what it looks like. And on top of that, it's a lot of their stuff is really blown up in their face. And we've been seeing that with Fani Willis, Nathan Wade, Terrence Bradley, Judge Engoron, you know, him reducing his original like statement, original price that he placed on Trump, pretty much. So you pretty much see that their plans are blowing up in their face. You see that they're in desperation. You see that they're doing anything they can to sabotage him, and you really see that they really are forcing him to, you know, just sit in courthouses. Like, that's what it looks like. Like, we all can see that it's bogus. We all can see that. We all can see that. Instead, and meanwhile, while he's over here doing this, you have people like Fani Willis over here getting clapped by somebody on her team. That's insane. Going on cruises and stuff, you know. And then Judge Engoron over here, like that was huge. Judge Engoron put like 454 million on Trump and then reduced it to like 155, I think, or somewhere in the 100 millions, somewhere around there. And that was just like, dude, like the corruption is so, like, it's just in broad daylight, and it's really disgusting. And you see that they're just doing anything and everything to give him hell, you know, all the way on his way to office.
It's election interference. And that is what this trial is about. Will America believe that Trump is guilty or that the Democrats are guilty for election interference?
So I know that work. I know how to follow the facts and hold people in power accountable.
I know a lot of judges that would have been not too pleased to receive an indictment like this and would have said, you know, what the heck is this? I mean, what are you alleging?
Yeah, that's Turley on Fox News saying judges wouldn't take this. That's the second character is Juan Merchan, corrupt judge Juan Merchan, whose daughter did campaign work, owns a business that helps Democrats. So he's compromised. If he was a normal judge, he'd say, what is this? But he's not a normal judge. So no matter what happens, by the end, I'll prove to you, Trump can't get a fair trial because of Juan Merchan. I hope this is set up for an appeal if he loses. And I believe Trump will lose, not because of justice. Here's Disclosed TV. New ABC, NBC, and CBS newscasts fail to identify Trump prosecutors as Democrats at least 90% of the time, study finds. If you need this study to tell you that these prosecutors are Democrats, well, you're not paying attention, and you obviously don't watch this channel.
Yeah.
But they should announce every single time who appointed the judge. Democrat appointment.
Thinking about going solar.
Shout out to Doug. Yeah. Every time it's always a Democrat. All right, here we go. Shout out to Doug in Exile.
And Bragg just sort of waved it off and said, I don't have to really say.
Nobody got harmed by this. The state wasn't deprived of any tax revenue.
There are substantial threshold legal questions here, and this case could collapse.
So let's hope for a collapse. That'd be great if the whole thing just fell apart and looked stupid from the beginning. But Judge Merchan is going to be running this thing and shaving it off, hitting Republicans, protecting Democrats, pretending to be an even-handed judge. He has to do that to the public. He's going to be one of the greatest actors in judge history. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg has charged Trump with falsifying business records related to money paid to Stormy Daniels and another woman, former Playboy model Karen McDougal. Bragg has alleged Trump broke New York law when he falsified with the intent to commit or conceal another crime. That's a huge stretch. Prosecutors allege Trump falsified internal records kept by his company, hiding the true nature of payments that involve Stormy Daniels, $130,000. That's why it's also called the hush money case. McDougal, $150,000, and Trump's former personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, who's already shown himself to be a liar. This is the guy that Alina Habba always goes after. He used to be Trump's bag man, his lawyer, his guy, and now he turned on Trump. So he's the star witness for the prosecution, and he's totally a liar. He's gotten paid $420,000. Prosecutors allege the money was logged as legal expenses, not reimbursements. Both Cohen and Daniels are.
For him to turn on Trump, you know, the $420,000 to me is really like it really seems like a bribe to me. Like he probably wasn't even really for Trump. I'm not entirely sure, but it's just for him to get paid $420,000 to me, man, just seems like hey, we'll give you extra money to really just like double down on sabotaging Trump with us. That's what it seems like to me. You guys let me know down below what you guys think in the comments. That's what it looks like to me.
Expected to testify. Trump could also.
The next Manhattan District Attorney is going to inherit that investigation, which, could be the most important investigation in the history of the country.
And that's why he got elected, to go in and dive bomb Trump's campaign. Remember, he didn't start the charges until after Trump decided to run for president.
It's very hard to come up with any rationale for what Bragg has been doing here.
We shouldn't be regarding Alvin Bragg as a law enforcement official. We should be regarding him as what he is, which is an elected progressive Democrat who campaigned on two things: basically not enforcing the law, and number two, using the power of his office to go after one guy, Donald Trump.
That's Andy McCarthy. He's a never Trumper. He's an anti-Trumper. He has said that he just doesn't think he can vote for Trump. And he's defending Trump, saying this is just a giant Democrat run by Alvin Bragg. So I love when people are in the anti-Trump camp coming around going, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a right-wing MAGA guy defending him. I know what's fair and what's not. And what the Democrats are doing, this is lawfare. This is to affect an election. That's the strongest case Trump can have, is a guy like Andy McCarthy forced to come out and defend him. This is great news for Trump.
The goal of all of these things is to interfere in an election. That should never be happening in the United States of America. Yet another Marxist communist attempt to change our country for the worst. It's terrifying.
That's Trump's daughter-in-law, Laura Trump, bringing in the Marxist angle. This is what Marxists and socialists do. They take the law, which is supposed to be equally applied to everyone, and they do not do equal protection under the law. They go after Republicans. They raise the standard on President Trump, and then they lower it for everybody else. That's the key to the law not being blind and no longer functioning in New York. Former Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance Jr., Bragg's predecessor, did not bring the case to trial. He thought it was ridiculous. So he was a Democrat. This is kind of like Andrew McCarthy defending Trump. This guy didn't bring the case against Trump because he thought it was laughable. So they had to get Alvin Bragg in office to pull this case off. I just wanted to give that important back data that a sober Democrat agrees with us, the guy that was in there before Alvin Bragg.
And Americans see this for what it is, an abuse of our legal system meant to interfere in the presidential election.
The people are coming around to this. This is Trump's whole campaign. He needs us to be very public. He's going to be very vocal about this court case because this is all part of the campaign. And I agree. If the Democrats are going to make this into a campaign issue, and they are, they're only bringing this up to try to win an election, then it's fair for Trump to comment on this, to break judicial orders, to be as loud and as brash as he can be, to point all eyes on him. I hope he turns this into a giant entertainment spectacle. Prosecutors, defense attorneys, and Trump are expected to be present when the trial before Judge Juan Merchan gets started today. The first step will be picking a jury, a process that could take a week or more, depending on how things progress. The trial is expected to last 6 to 8 weeks. Now, this is going to the jury, and this is why Trump can't get a fair case in New York.
But polls show it's backfiring, only solidifying Trump's support. And voters see him as a victim of unscrupulous political enemies who are weaponizing the laws.
I bring that on too, because Greg Jarrett over at Fox is also not a big Trump supporter. And he's announcing how the polls, the people are seeing this for what it is. This is super important that we get this media out and push it out to everyone, because this case is going to be determined on the American streets, not in that New York courtroom. Prosecutors and defense attorneys will select 12 jurors.
Also, just want to state too that with each court case and everything, and how they consistently try to drag Trump down, it only makes him more popular. People are seeing this thing for what it is, and they're siding with Trump. That's what we're seeing on like a really large scale. So it's pretty interesting to watch. Pretty interesting stuff.
Out and push it out to everyone, because this case is going to be determined on the American streets, not in that New York courtroom. Prosecutors and defense attorneys will select 12 jurors and 6 alternates from a pool of potentially hundreds of people. Each juror will answer 42 questions designed to determine whether they can be impartial in the high-profile trial of a polarizing former president. The jurors will remain anonymous because of security concerns. I don't care about the anonymity whatsoever. I'm not going after jurors. I will say this: it's not a fair game for one side to have to find Republican jurors, and the other side just has to get the default Manhattan juror, and the Democrats are fine. This case is already unfair from the very start. This is from the New York Times. What to know about jury selection in Trump's Manhattan criminal trial case. As Donald Trump's prosecution begins, lawyers must winnow a pool of hundreds of 12 jurors who will decide his fate. Sounds all normal, right? Here's the next paragraph that tells you why Judge Merchan is going to screw this case over. Mr. Trump's legal team and prosecutors for the district attorney, Alvin Bragg, can challenge the inclusion of prospective jurors by providing specific reasons they believe a juror cannot be fair and impartial. Both sides are allowed to do their number of excuses, But who's going to use up those tickets faster? The Republicans or the Democrats? So it's already isn't fair to give them the same amount of excusements or excused jurors, because the Democrats can sit there and just sleepwalk through things. The Republicans, they have to find a non-Marxist who's still in the New York jury pool. They have to find someone who doesn't hate Trump's whole life and willing to stab America in the heart to get at him. Good luck finding those jurors, Trump prosecutors. In this final line, the judge has the final say on the jury, on who can be excused and who can't. How can Judge Merchan, who's compromised, be a fair judge? This whole thing needs to be thrown out. Trump will lose, and then he'll have to appeal it, and they'll do all the blockages to him appealing it. But I'm only saying Judge Merchan is technically going to be picking this jury, and he's going to make sure that it's going to go against Trump, making this whole trial a joke. Wow. Hope you guys subscribe. Hope you like this, and leave your comments below on what you think. Will Trump be found innocent or guilty? I'm Doug in.
So shout out to Doug in Exile. There we have it. That's all for his video. His video link will be down below in the description. To me, it definitely looks like what I've been saying throughout my previous videos, that they are making Trump pay his pound of flesh. They see that he definitely is like en route to be president. They see that. So they're like, okay, well, we have to make this as gruesome, as cruel, as we got to be as vindictive as possible, and just sabotage everything and make you wish that you didn't even try to take up for this job. And then on top of that, okay, well, if he's going to be president, he's got to pay his pound of flesh. All right. You gotta just suffer you got to pay the cost to be the boss, that kind of thing. That's what it seems like to me. And so, you know, they consistently like punish him for consistently just climbing up that mountain to office, that kind of thing. That's how it strikes me. And you know, I say that because you look at Judge McAfee, and you know, he extended the lifeline to Fani Willis, especially by just removing Nathan Wade and not removing Fani Willis. And then Judge Engoron slapping $454 million on Trump, and then it like went up, I think, with like interest and taxes. I'm not sure the exact amount, but it was like somewhere, I saw it somewhere in the sixes on an article, but then it was reduced all the way down. Trump was fighting that. Then you have, who else? I'm trying to think. When Alina Habba when she couldn't use the evidence she had on E. Jean Carroll, and the judge that she had went up against, that judge had told her that she couldn't use the evidence, and then like the jury couldn't even see the evidence on E. Jean Carroll. So that whole situation. And then now you have this situation with Alvin Bragg and Judge Merchan. So it's really disgusting. It's really messy. It's really just tedious and brutal. That's how it strikes me. Definitely let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. That's all for my commentary. Thank you to all of the channel supporters. Thank you for everybody who's a channel member. Thank you to everybody who shares these videos, likes, comment, and subscribes, leaves a positive comment. Thank you, and shout out to each and every single one of you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.